Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing an Earthbound Immortal deck profile. So I'm really excited to speak guys because this deck was actually suggested to me by one of my patrons, Braxton. This deck is a really awesome deck to be able to play with that I've upgraded a lot since the last time I profiled it. I've included all sorts of spicy tech cards in this build for you guys, so without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name screwed in a single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your Patreon. And definitely give Braxton some love down in the comments down below for suggesting such an awesome deck. So let's get straight on into this one, guys. So first off, we're going to be playing a single copy of Earthbound Immortal Ocotber. This card is a great one in the deck because it's super searchable, but it's a crazy powerful boss monster in this deck. There can only be one face-up Earthbound Immortal monster on the field, and it also has the ability that if there's no face-up field spell card on the field, you have to destroy this card. Your opponent cannot target this card for attacks, and this card can attack your opponent directly, which is an insanely powerful effect on this monster because it has 3,000 attack points, which is really big on a monster that can attack directly. It also has the ability, if this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the destroyed monster's original attack points, but you're usually going to be attacking directly with this card to do 3,000 damage, which is really crazy. I then play a single copy of Earthbound Immortal Uru. Uru is really good because it also has 3,000 attack points, but this card has a really unique ability that once per turn, you contribute one other monster that you control, and then target a face-up monster that your opponent controls and take control of that target until the end phase of the turn, which is an awesome effect to be able to do, to be able to take control of an opponent's monster so that we can use it to go in for game. I then play two copies of Earthbound Greater Linewalker. This card is the card that we can actually search out our Earthbound Immortals with, and this card is super easy to summon to the field because it has the ability that if you control a synchro monster and have a synchro monster in the graveyard, you can just special summon this card from your hand to your side of the field, and then during your main phase, you can add an Earthbound Immortal monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. And if an Earthbound Immortal monster is normal summoned, while you have this monster on the field, you can make your opponent's life points become 3,000, which is why we play Ocotber and Uru, because then we can go in for game because they each can attack directly and both have 3,000 attack points, being an OTK, which is absolutely insane. I then play three copies of Ascatar Dawnwalker. This card is a really awesome card to help us synchro summon into some really powerful cards, and it's super easy to summon to the field because you can discard a card to special summon this card from your hand in Defense Edition, and then you can special summon out a Fire Ant Ascatar from your hand or deck. But it locks you into synchro summoning for that turn, which is not that big of a deal because that's all we're summoning from the extra deck anyways. We then play a single copy of Fire Ant Ascatar to be able to special summon off of our copy of Dawnwalker, which is really important in this deck. We then play three copies of Supei Dustwalker, which is a really good 3-of in this build to be able to use in this deck. And it has the ability, just like your copy of Ascatar, that you discard a card from your hand, special summon this card from your hand in Defense Edition, but instead of summoning out a copy of Fire Ant, you actually special summon out a copy of Supei, which is really cool to help us go in for level 6 synchros. We then play a p.u.n.k engine in this deck as well because it helps us go in for Ultimate Tzolk'in. So we're going to be playing three copies of Amen. Amen is a really good card in this deck, and if you open up this card, it can be a 1-card Ultimate Tzolk'in, which is really crazy. You pay 600 life points to add one p.u.n.k monster from your deck to your hand, which is always going to be your copy of Foxy-tune. You then use your effect of Foxy-tune to be able to send it and another card from your hand to the graveyard to special summon out your copy of Deer Note, which is a level 5 monster, and then you have your level 3 tuner to help you go in for a level 8 synchro play, which is actually going to be a Yugioh Mathmech Magma, which is a tuner monster, which is really cool. The effect of Deer Note when it touches the graveyard will actually go off and let you special summon back your copy of Foxy-tune, which is a level 8 monster, and then from there all you have to do is send Magma and your copy of Foxy-tune to the graveyard to summon out your copy of Ultimate Tzolk'in, which also sets up for Greater Linewalker, which is super cool in the deck because you'll have a synchro monster in the grave and a synchro monster on the field, which is really cool in this deck. We then play two of a really spicy tech card that I'm actually going to set face down, and we're going to play Guess That card with this card. This card is a really good 2-of in this particular build to help you summon out your Earthbound Immortal monsters and keep them on the field, which is really, really cool in this deck. We're just going to place these cards face down and remind you guys to not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell there so you can become part of Notification Squad, and we're going to reveal that card in 3, 2, 1. And definitely comment down below what you guys think this card is. And it's actually going to be 2 copies of Gravekeeper's Commandant, which is a really cool tech card in this build to be able to discard this card to the graveyard to add Necro Valley from deck to hand, which is one of the most powerful field spells in the entire game, helping you lock down the graveyard, which is just super cool in this deck. It helps you get your Earthbound Immortal monsters on the field by searching Necro Valley directly from your deck to your hand, and especially with Terraforming at 1, this card basically is 2 more copies of Terraforming, which is really, really good for the consistency of this deck. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is just a really good hand trap just to stop the opponent from touching the deck. We then play 2 copies of Ghost Ogre. Ghost Ogre is a really good 2-of in the deck that works with Jam Dragon Drive and works with your copy of E-Telly in this particular build to be able to special summon to your side of the field, and it still works while it's on the field, which is why we play it as a 2-of in this build. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Monster Reborn. Monster Reborn is a really good 1-of in this deck to be able to bring any of your monsters that you need back to the field, which is really nice in this particular build. We then play a single copy of Terraforming, because Terraforming just helps us get to our field spell so that we can go in for all of our Earthbound Immortal plays. We then play a single copy of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is a really good 1-of in the deck to be able to stop your opponent's hand traps while we're going in for all of our plays. I then play a single copy of Set Rotation, because we do play 2 different field spells in this particular deck. So this card is a really, really good 1-of to be able to put a field spell on your opponent's field and a field spell on our field. We then play 2 copies of Earthbound Geoglyph. Earthbound Geoglyph is a really good 2-of in the deck that has the ability that when any level 10 monsters are on the field, this card cannot be destroyed by card effects, and it can't be targeted either, which is really cool. It also has the ability to contribute 1 synchro monster for 2 tributes to tribute summon out an Earthbound Immortal monster, which is really nice. It also has the ability, if a synchro monster is special summoned, except during the damage step, then you can add an Earthbound Immortal spell or trap card from your deck to your hand, which is always going to be Ultimate Earthbound Immortal that you're going to be searching off this card. We then play 3 copies of Necro Valley. Necro Valley is a really good 3-of in the deck because this card just helps you lock down the graveyard, because we don't go into the graveyard all that much after we go in for our Punk plays in this particular deck, because after that we're just basically using our copies of Dusk and Dawnwalker to help us go into the Sun and Moon Dragon. But this card is really good in the deck to be able to lock down the graveyard and just be able to stop the opponent from touching the graveyard. So this card is a definite 3-of in this build. I did consider playing Zombie World over this card with Banshee, but I ended up with this card instead and really like it. We then play 3 copies of Emergency Teleport. Emergency Teleport is a really good 3-of in the deck because this card special summons out your copy of Aemon to your side of the field and just helps you go in for that copy of Ultimaya to Zolkin. So this card is a really good 3-of and just counts as 3 more copies of Aemon. We then play 3 copies of Dark Spirit's Mastery. Dark Spirit's Mastery, discard a card and then add a copy of Earthbound Greater Linewalker from your deck to your hand, which is super good in this particular build. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're just going to be playing a single trap card, which is going to be Ultimate Earthbound Immortal. This card is searchable in the deck, which is why we're just playing a single copy of this card. But if a normal summon set Earthbound Immortal monster is on the field, then you can target one face-up monster on the field and destroy it, and you can use that effect once per turn, which is a really awesome effect to be able to use just to clear your opponent's board so you can go in for games. So this card is a really good 1-of that's in the deck that you can search out extremely easily. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the X deck, we're going to be playing a single copy of Ultimaya to Tzolk'in. This card is really good and really easy to summon. It has the ability that it is always treated as a level 12 Synchro monster, and it cannot be Synchro summoned. It must be special summoned from the X deck by sending 2 level 5 or higher monsters that you control with the same level, 1 a tuner and 1 non-tuner, to the graveyard to summon this card. And if you set a spell or trap card to your side of the field once per turn, you can special summon out a Synchro Dragon monster that is a level 8 or level 7 monster from your X deck to your side of the field, which is a really powerful effect just to put a copy of Crystal Wing on your side of the field by setting a spell or trap that you can then activate anyways, which is really cool. So this card is a definite one of in the deck. We then play a single copy of Geomathmech Magma because we're going to use this card plus a copy of Foxy Tomb to make our copy of Ultimaya to Tzolk'in in this particular build, which is really cool. We then play a single copy of Crystal Wing to be able to summon off the copy of Ultimaya to Tzolk'in. This card is one of the best targets to be able to summon off of Ultimaya to Tzolk'in, just to give us a monster negate on the field. We then play a single copy of Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. This card is just really cool to be able to summon to the field, and this card's name becomes Red Dragon Archfiend while on the field or in the graveyard, and then once per turn you can destroy as many special summon monsters on the field as possible with an attack less than or equal to this card's, and then inflict 500 points of damage to your opponent for each monster destroyed, which can do a lot of burn damage to the opponent. I then play a single copy of Void Ogre Dragon. This card, if you don't have any cards in your hand, you can negate a spell or trap once per turn, which is really good. 1 copy of Stardust Spark Dragon, just to be able to protect our field spells. So this card is a really good one of in here, just to be able to protect our copy of Necro Valley or Geoglyph on our side of the field. 1 copy of p.u.n.k Amazing Dragon. This card is really good to be able to summon in the deck. It's very easy if you want to summon this card instead of Ultimaya to Tzolk'in, just to give you multiple bounces with this card and have it as a monster reborn on the field for your p.u.n.k monsters. I then play a single copy of Psychic In Punisher. This card is super easy to summon, one of the best synchro monsters ever created, and it's really easy to summon because while your life points are less than equal to your opponent's, this synchro summon card is unaffected your opponent's activated effects, and then once per turn you can pay 1,000 life points, target 1 monster that you control and 1 monster that your opponent control, and banish them. And at the start of the battle phase, you can make this card as an attack, gain attack equal difference between yours and your opponent's life points, which can be a lot of life points that this card can be a difference between to get this card absolutely massive. I then play a single copy of the Virtual World QB, because being able to make this card and lock down the graveyard and have everything banished is just really cool, because any card sent to the graveyard is banished instead, which is a really powerful effect in certain matchups. I play a single copy of Draco Berserker of the Tenyi. This card is really good because when your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can banish it, which is a really cool effect just to banish an opponent's monster that activates its effect. And if this card destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can make this card gain attack equal to the monster's original attack, and then make this card be able to attack again on another monster during that battle phase, which is really good. Play a single copy of Crimson Blader because we can make this card, and in certain matchups this card can be really devastating, which is why I play this card as a one of. Play a single copy of Gem Dragon Drive. I play this card just in case I want to step into the copy of Amazing Dragon. So this card is a really good one of, and it's a really awesome one of to be able to step into a level 11 synchro. We then play a single copy of Sun Dragon. Sun Dragon is one of the main cards we're going to be summoning in this deck. It's very easy to summon with your copy of Ascatar Dawnwalker, because it will summon out the Fire Ant to your side of the field, which is really cool. This card is absolutely insane in the deck and just a really good card overall, and it combos very well with our copy of our Moon Dragon, which is just super cool to be able to play both of these in the deck. They're really easy to summon with your copy of Ascatar Dawnwalker and Supe Duskwalker, and a really cool add into this deck to be able to help you summon out your Earthbound Immortals. And plus they can roll back in between each other, which is really good. We then play a single copy of Stardust Charge Warrior just in case we want to draw a card, which is why we play this card as a one of. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played Earthbound Immortal, you should definitely try out this deck because it's really spicy. I really like the p.u.n.k engine in the deck with the copies of E-Telly, because it basically makes a copy of our Ultimaya to Tzolk'in off of 1 card, and being able to summon out this Sun and Moon Dragon is just super cool. So anyways, guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell on there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.